Welcome in everyone, and welcome to MLB The Show Diamond Dynasty. Even after you complete the tutorial in Diamond Dynasty, you still might be left wondering, what do I do and where do I go? How do I start? And how do I get off to the best start possible? Here is my ultimate beginner's guide to MLB The Show 25 Diamond Dynasty. Let's get into it. First thing I'd recommend you go and do is just open up any packs you have, whether that be from the pre-order bonus or whatnot. You could spend some stubs on them. I wouldn't totally recommend spending a bunch of stubs on them, especially now they're not really worth it. It's $1,500 for a show pack, and they're just kind of overpriced. The return on investment really isn't there. I tried this Jumpstart pack, it's decent, so maybe give that one a shot. But yeah, if you have any pre-order packs, just go ahead and open those. Those will get you a decent start. Second thing, I just wanted to make y'all familiar with collections. And as you went through the tutorial, you probably went through the starter collections, which is a good start. But the one that you've probably seen and you want to focus on as you start your grind kind of passively is the live series collections, because as you can see, you could get some really good cards really early by just acquiring all the cards. And some of these teams aren't super expensive when it comes to diamonds. So maybe not the Red Sox, let's say the White Sox. Like, this is a very attainable team. You get a gold 80 overall. Maybe scour the lower overall live series collections to see what cards you could pick up just to boost your team a little extra bit. But yeah, in the background, be focused on getting this done, because this provides a huge boost to the team as you get 399s and a bunch of other really usable cards that you'll be able to use for a long time. Let's move on to some programs. So first off, I'm going to go into programs, complete the starter program. It's really quick. You get some decent golds. I mean, this is the beginning of the game. The cards aren't going to be great, but you get a bunch of golds. And with the spring breakout program, you get some diamonds as well as in this pipeline promo, you can get a lot of good cards early on that'll help boost your team. And I recommend doing the moments first, just going through all the moments for all three. Along with the moments, I would also recommend completing the showdown. Both the moments and the showdown, you don't use your actual team. So regardless of what your team overall is, you could get those done. And with this, you get 24 stars in this event, as well as 20. So you get up to 44, which puts you up to 2 players that you could put on your squad and start earning these mission XPs. That's how you progress further in programs like this. These stat-based missions can be done with just members of the team, but the ones that say PXP are usually the ones that are in the promo themselves, as well as cards that you could get from the shop, but you don't necessarily need to, as those are optional missions. And collections as well. Once you start collecting all of them, you could get that done and then get a free 87 overall. Once you do the moments and the showdown for both, you're going to get a lot of progress. With this one, you can pretty much get completely done by doing all the moments, the showdown, and the exchanges and the collections. You don't really need a lot for these. You'll get them from pretty much all the base packs that you get. If you don't, then just keep playing and you'll be able to complete this pretty easily. Once you get all that done, put all the cards that you get from here into your squad to start earning that player XP. One more thing on programs, there will be new programs periodically throughout the weeks and months of MLB The Show. These obviously aren't all of them, but they'll come out like weekly or bi-weekly, something like that. These spotlight programs look like the player of the month promos that'll be coming out, so watch out for these. But yeah, there'll be new themed programs every once in a while, so make sure you keep checking in on those, because those just give you a bunch of free cards that you could grind. Now I'd like to talk about the XP reward path. As you play Diamond Dynasty, regardless of any mode, you'll earn XP, and all that XP goes into this first inning XP pack, which earns you all kinds of stuff like packs, some cards, and stubs, as well as some customizable things. But the thing to look out for right now early on are these cornerstone packs. These contain 379 overall players. They're not anything super special right off the bat, but if you stick them in your squad and get XP and start completing these programs, you could upgrade that card to an 85 overall version of that card. So these moments, just complete all these, and then with that player in your lineup, you'll start accumulating even more stars. And as you can see, I'm pretty close and I haven't played a ton yet. Getting all these 3 will also be a huge boost to your team. Then as you go down, you'll be able to get cards like this throughout the season. And these are just going to be nice to get and nice to grind for. This Jake Arrieta looks pretty good, as well as these boss packs that are at the end of at the end of every XP path every new season. So these cards look great. So that's pretty much it about the XP path. Once you get to the end, you don't have to stop trying to get as much XP as you can. As you can see, there's a lot of cool packs up there. I don't know, the Ultra Pack Premier, get a chase pack, there's a deluxe pack and headliners pack, so opportunity for a lot of cool stuff there. I'm intrigued to see what that is, and watch the path tasks throughout the season. There's not going to be a ton, but these collections are here and they do give you a little bit of extra XP. Pretty much it about the XP path. And now you might be wondering, what is Team Affinity? So Team Affinity changed a little bit. It's kind of a different grind this year. It might look scary with all 30 teams here. It's like, damn, that is a lot of grinding. But a cool thing that they added, I'm a Cubs fan. I'm going to be going for the Cubs probably first. Midway through, they give you these 85 overalls, which not super special. Alfonso Soriano, awesome player. He boosts all Cubs players that are 91 or lower. So any player from that specific team that is 91 or lower will get all these boosts depending on how many players you have. So you create some teams that are really high overall, really good, and for super cheap. So this is definitely something to go after early. Some tips on completing it will be, obviously, complete these missions. A lot of these missions for Team Affinity are just with players from the team. So just play games with a bunch of players from that same team, along with players that from other missions that you need to grind from other programs, to kind of put them all in one, get XP and progress as fast as possible. Get your eyes set on one team early on, get that captain player and get your team boosted up, and have a really good roster pretty early on. When I talk about the grind, you might be wondering, so what are you actually talking about in terms of what am I playing? Like, what am I grinding? What am I playing to get these stats and get this XP? That's where these single player modes come in. Modes like Diamond Quest, which is brand new to MLB 25, mini seasons Conquest. First off, I am going to get into Conquest and talk about that real quick. Conquest is a really easy way to grind a lot of these XP missions and also get some decent rewards, as some of these Conquests, especially later on, give you really nice rewards if you complete the whole thing. When you pull up Conquest for the first time, you're going to see this board. Like, what do I do? Like, this isn't MLB. I'm not playing baseball, but it's just like a little board game. You have this little island of your team, and there's all these little bubbles, which are your fans. And you'll see in the bottom right corner, the 31 million fans, and that's all my territories. I have 10 territories, and all those numbers add up to 31 million. So what you want to do is capture the entire map and capture all the territories that you have that teams are on. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to start in this attack phase. You can attack any space of land from any space as long as it has two or more like health on it. So I'm from the home base right here, and I have 12 here, so I could spread and take over this zone right here and pretty much conquer like half of the map. And then you'll see the screen, when I run out of space to be able to spread, it'll go over to the steel fans section. And I don't really use this steel fans section. I don't know anyone who really does. I always skip this. Like, don't worry about steel fans. And then you get to this reinforce phase, which depending on how many spaces you have, you'll be able to add a certain amount of reinforcements to a space. And then add the rest here, so then I could go back and capture as much land as possible, rinse and repeat. Same with move fans. You'll need to do it from time to time. You can just move, it's pretty self-explanatory, move your fans from one place to another. Rinse and repeat over and over, kind of same thing. And once you get to the higher levels of these conquests, there's gonna be a lot more teams, a lot more spaces. For example, this cactus one, which I've already gotten started on a decent bit. When you get into spaces like this, where there's no open spaces, it's all teams controlled spaces. Just accumulate, keep rinsing, repeating, like skipping, reinforcing, and expanding your land. And then once you get to a reinforced space, when you have a lot of these little bubbles, you'll be able to add a lot of fans to one space, which is why I have 23 fans on this one location. And then when you get to a controlled space, you're going to see this screen. And then you just want to simulate the game. You don't want to play these games that aren't stronghold games, because that would just make it take even longer. So you simulate this, and when it says high, that's when you want to sim. When it goes to medium and you have like, it's like a 3 versus 1, like there's a chance that you lose it, but you don't really lose a lot when you lose one of these little like territory battle things. Then once you get to a stronghold space, do the same thing, click on it, and then play game. The amount of fans you have over the opponent's stronghold is going to determine the difficulty. And for me, I just like to practice for online. So I like to keep it on and keep it consistent on all-star. Rinse and repeat all of what I previously said over and over again, and that's pretty much Conquest. my recommendation is to not really steal fans at all. Like, I don't really recommend you do that. You don't really need to do that to fully complete these. Skip the steal fans phase and just attack, spread your spaces and fans around the map as quickly as you can. You'll passively complete these goals that are throughout the entire conquest. Got a bunch of packs here, like 10 packs, and as well as hidden rewards that you'll just find by spreading your land throughout the entire map. They're on random empty spaces, stuff like that. And once again, all the XP you gain from this will go into the XP reward path. Mini seasons are another good way to grind offline modes. Mini seasons are basically just like 28 regular season games, and they're all 3-inning games, and they have some challenge rewards as you go for milestones throughout the mini season and rewards such as this 87 CC Spathia, but they do take a long time. And I noticed at least last year they didn't have the greatest rewards in comparison to Conquest. I would stick to Conquest, and then when you're finished with all the Conquest, then you can move on to mini seasons and start tackling those. And really quickly, I just wanted to introduce y'all to the new mode of Diamond Quest. It's a really cool new offline mode that gives you pretty decent rewards right off the bat. When you first click into it, you'll choose which quests you want to do, what rewards. I just chose this one. It gives some pretty decent rewards, 85s, 87s, definitely very solid. Same with this one, a couple 87s and some packs. And then this is the basic one. When you first get into it, it'll ask you to set your lineup. So set your lineup however you want in advance, and then it randomizes these spaces. It's kind of like a new funky board game, kind of like a more complex version of Conquest. You roll your dice to determine how many spaces you go. And right here, I went 2 spaces, so I'll get 2. I'll be able to move my little thingy or my little space up here twice over, and you'll see these challenge things. These are like little moments challenges. If you complete them, you'll gain positive perks, and if you don't complete them, you'll get negative perks, and I'll show you guys after I complete this one real quick. So there we go. That took probably like 3 minutes. That took no time at all. As you can see, I still get XP for that XP path, and I got one of these perks, so that'll help, as it said. And the packs that you accumulate as well go into this quest treasure box, a stash of all the rewards you get throughout this entire board game. These perks that are active, to my knowledge, stay on the entire time, and the negative perks that you get if you would have lost, those would last for like a game or 2. And also there is this sweeper ball. This ball roams around the map in a specific pattern. It is like another 3-inning game, I'm pretty sure, when you get all these packs and that diamond perk, which will help a lot throughout the rest of your board clearing. And if you lose, you get these. Lose 50% of your peanuts, which are your currency throughout this entire game. So yeah, as you go on, you'll be clearing it out, doing challenges. You'll beat the sweeper ball, and then you'll get to these strongholds. These strongholds are like Conquest games, so they're 3-inning games, and when you complete them, depending on what difficulty you are on, that percentage marker shows what percentage you have of getting both of those cards. And as you clear out the board and get more spaces, those percentages will keep going up and up. So it will get easier. You don't need to be playing on Legend or GOAT to be able to get these cards. But once you get through and you cleared the whole board and you're ready to play these games, one of these Conquest style games, you'll want to make sure that you win these games, because if you don't and you lose everything in that chest. So make sure you win these games. You'll get some really decent rewards with these, as well as all the packs that you get. At this point, it's kind of up to you. Obviously, grind out all of those moments and those missions on the offline mode, such as Conquest, or on the Diamond Quest mode. Maybe try upping the difficulty a little bit as you go through those Conquest games to sharpen your skills. Once that confidence starts building, try hopping into online, because once you get into the online space, there are some really good rewards that you get. And a mode like Battle Royale is one you could tackle early on, as it's another draft-based mode. It is the draft-based mode in Diamond Dynasty that has a program as well. So BR, I'd probably recommend if you want to get into online, as if you're someone that isn't familiar with online or doesn't really like online, maybe give Battle Royale a shot. And the only way to get better, truly, is to just keep playing and keep practicing and keep upping the difficulty offline and keep just testing your skills online and just keeping a level head, because that's really key. Just the more you play, the more you could get more consistent with your at-bats and your pitching. That's kind of the avenue I'd recommend. Start with the offline and maybe dabble a little bit in Battle Royale, and then maybe when your team is good enough, hop into Ranked. Ranked has really nice rewards at the end, as you can see here, and later on as the weeks go on, there's going to be a new weekend league mode that's been introduced into MLB The Show, which is similar to weekend league in FIFA and Madden. It's a weekend-long competition where you play players in your division, 5 or 6 games that you have allotted to play for weekend league, and depending on how you do in those, you get a certain amount of rewards and either move up divisions, move down divisions. But it's just a cool way to compete and get some really good rewards. I'd recommend using the zone hitting interface. Once you get it down, it's the best way to be able to control your ability to hit, be able to get the best results out of your players. So I really recommend zone hitting. It is difficult. It is really difficult at the start, but I really recommend you use it. I'll throw up kind of what that looks like on the screen. And pitching, I also recommend pinpoint, as that is the best way to get accurate pitches in this game. Pinpoint is the closest thing you could get to putting it exactly where you want it to go. Highly, highly, highly recommend you use pinpoint as well. And there you have it. That is my ultimate beginner's guide to MLB The Show Diamond Dynasty. I hope this video was informative and useful for the beginning of your MLB The Show Diamond Dynasty journey. If you enjoyed it, leave it a like. You guys are the best, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.